Hey friends, Donovan here with FretSpot. You know how I start almost all these videos? Well, I guess I usually introduce myself and tell you where I'm from. Well, I don't tell you where I'm from. I live in Springfield, Missouri, in case you're curious. But I always say, I've got something really cool to show you today. Well, maybe I should stop saying that, although I pretty much always do have something cool to show you today. But today is a special day. I definitely have something cool to show you today. And this is gonna be one of those videos that you are going to remember probably for the rest of your life. Well, maybe not that, but it's that type of special. Why is it so special? Well, it's gonna feature a bass model from my friends at F Bass, but it's not just a bass that has like a gorgeous exotic top, although it does. And it's not going to be just a bass that has like really cool options, even though it does. And it's not going to be a bass that's just, really beautiful and outstanding to look at, even though it is. And it's also not just a bass that sounds really, really good, even though it does. But this is something totally different. And if I was smart or the kind of person who planned something out, I would kind of script all this out, and I would have a plan of how to do this. If I was like, had goals of being like a YouTuber, but I really am not doing this to be a YouTuber. I do this channel to share these gorgeous basses with you guys, and I know about half my audience watches pretty regularly, and so you guys have figured out that I'm not really all that smart. So we're winging it, is basically what I'm telling you. So anyway, let me just sort of start from the beginning. Well, we'll start from the beginning. That takes too long. Let me start from how this model evolved. So I have a bass in my collection, and like many of you, I have several basses, but I tend to kind of gravitate towards a few. Like I've got my kind of F basses that are like that's my go-to. I've got an MTD that's my go-to that I also love, and then I've got maybe. I've got like a 4-string P bass and some stuff like that laying around. And I'm not really a big collector. But if when something really stands out or whatever, I like to keep it. The problem is making this content. There's times I make videos for things I don't want to sell, but then you guys see it and you buy them. And that's ultimately what I'm supposed to be doing here is selling basses. Anyway, I'm gonna move forward. So I have this bass that's in my collection. It's a 5-string. And then as I started playing it, because I always play everything that comes through, especially if it's, something special or unique, I found myself really enjoying it. And it wasn't ever going to be my daily driver. It wasn't ever going to be my go-to. But it was just that thing that like, man, when I want to switch it up, when I want something different, this is the bass I go to. And so I started thinking over time of like, man, I wonder if I could get F Bass to make something like this, because I'm also kind of loyal. Like if I have something I love, I would love to be able to have that from the companies I also love. And I really love the guys at F Bass. Like they're just the best. So anyway, enough like obfuscation here. Let me show you the bass that we were modeling here. So I've got this Smith, and as many of you, if you're a Smith fan, you might know, like, first of all, let's just talk about his accolades. So Ken Smith, obviously kind of a pioneer in the boutique bass business. I think you've got him, maybe the guys at Federa. The guys at Federa make amazing basses. When I said maybe, I'm just thinking like, if we're thinking about the legacy of bass building, Alembic. There's a handful of guys, and I bet many of my audience will know this better than I will if you're watching this today. But Ken Smith is in that echelon of guys that were like pushing the envelope for bass design. Definitely had like his concept of what he wanted a bass to sound like. And he used really high quality materials and woods, really high quality workmanship. And with many of his basses, like this one, they were known for, in addition, of course, to like their impeccable playability and stuff, they just kind of had this sound. There was this sound that's kind of like a little kind of nasal burp to it a little bit. It was a sound that kind of like just cut through the mix a little bit. So when the engineer isn't boosting you as loud as you'd like, your tone quality still has this quality that'll still push through. And so especially for those players that were very articulate players, like the gospel R&B players and stuff like that, where they're doing all these runs and stuff, you know, they want that funky run to be able to be heard, even though it may not have a loud presence in the mix. Does that make sense? So in my mind, that's kind of was the inspiration behind Ken Smith. Now, I don't know if that's actually true or not, but I think in reality, that is why so many people gravitate towards the basses. The problem with the Ken Smith basses, they're not in huge supply, so they can be a little hard to get. And then, again, I don't want to be uncharitable or unkind, but let's just say that Ken has a reputation of being a little bit of a prickly pear. We'll just put that out there, okay? So anyway, so I had this Ken Smith bass, and when I first got it, honestly, like the styling of it and everything wasn't really my cup of tea at the moment. But like I recognized, like, oh, it's a well-made bass, you know? And then I plugged in and started playing it, and originally the burpiness of the mid-range sound, it didn't like do it for me, but I just kind of found myself kind of kept digging it. And so then I started thinking, I wonder if the guys at F Bass would do something inspired by this bass, but that still also has a little bit more of like the fullness and richness that the F Bass has. And so I reached out to Marcel at F Bass, like, hey, I've got this idea. Was this something you'd entertain? And he was like, maybe. And so we were talking a little more about it. And I was like, you know, I would like, let's do like, you know, one or two of these, and let's just see how they come out. And so we used my bass as kind of the inspiration. We didn't copy it or anything like that. We were just using kind of the inspiration of how we were going to set this up. And there was a few things as I was going through it that I kind of felt like were the real particulars of it. And so we used that to make this new F Bass. Now, because of the pickup system and everything else, I decided, like, well, we need to go with the Deluxe. So it's got to be the Deluxe platform for the F Bass, because that's going to give us single coil options, parallel series options. It's going to give us the most tonal options. We'll have the exposed coil pickups with the width pickup covers, which are really look cool. The pickup placement is really important to get that Ken Smith sound. Brass nuts also really important. So I kind of put all these features together, sent them over to F Bass, and they were willing to do it. Now, the bass has come out so fantastic that this is going to be in the model lineup, and from here all the way through the end of 2024, only available through FretSpot.com. So very excited for that. So you can place your orders for that. But let me show it to you now. So here we have our F Bass Deluxe. I don't know what they're going to end up actually calling this model, but this is the FretSpot model for now. As far as you know, that's what we're going to call it. And so we've got our Deluxe pickup system, but we've got some really cool things going on. So pickup placement, this is inspired by the Ken Smith pickup placement here. We have a Crotch Walnut top wings with matching headstock. You can see it there, really lovely. And the matching pickup shells with exposed coil pickups. These are, since it's the Deluxe, it's the true dual coil pickups. We have a flame maple centered block, and it's tapered, the body's tapered so you can see it from the front. And then we've got its flame maple back. Isn't that gorgeous? Fingerboard is Macassar ebony, and the neck is maple and wenge, 5-piece maple and wenge neck. We have an adjustable brass nut. So there's little screw heads back there, so we can actually adjust the height of each of the string. And then we have Gotoh Res-O-Lite tuners to keep the weight in check, gold hardware. And this is set up with 18 millimeter string spacing at the bridge. So you can adjust it out to 19 if you want, but we wanted to keep it at 18. Otherwise, same controls as normal. So boost only preamp, bass mid treble, and then volume tone, and the pickup selectors for series, parallel, and single coil. So that's our Smith inspired bass, and 34.5-inch scale, just like our normal F basses. Now, I will do a little A/B testing between both these basses, and so you can kind of hear the difference, and you will definitely hear a difference. And I will also grab my BN5 so you can hear the difference between, well, maybe that'll be a future video. I'll do that as a future video because my BN5 I need to restring. So, but today we'll compare this bass to a Smith and let you hear that. And then in a future video, I'll compare this bass to a BN5 so you can hear the difference between those two. I can tell you from having already played them, you can hear the inspiration in this bass from a Smith, but it doesn't sound exactly like a Smith. So this still has that kind of warmth to it and fullness that the F bass that I loved about the F bass, and the Smith still has that super articulated kind of nasally type of sound to it inherently. This can get a little bit of that, but it's, yeah, they're two separate things. I mean, if you want a Smith, just go get a Smith. But if you love the feel and you love working with the guys at F bass, and if you love all that, but you just wish it had a little bit more of that articulation, then I think you might find this be the bass for you. Okay, I'm going to stop blabbing and start playing, and we'll start first with the Smith so you can kind of hear the sound of the inspiration. Okay, so I'll just kind of play a little bit of sustain and just play without any accompaniment, just so you can hear the bass. So fingers down on that. So yeah, so that's all the controls basically just in the center position. And then yeah, so that's kind of a rundown of the Smith, great sounding classic Smith bass. So that's that. Now let's hear how the F bass compares. Downs in series, which is what I think is the standard configuration for the Smith, and it gives you that sound that sounds so much like. Yeah, it just gets that meaty sound like what we'd expect to hear with that. Boost it up a little bit more. So with the Deluxe pickups in series, so both switches down here, to me that's when you get the sound that's most like that Smith sound. And then we add, if we wanted to add a little bit of mid-range to that, even more. finger style first. I'll do it in the same key I'll do the other one. Yeah, so to me, what I'm hearing is both basses sound great. So please don't take any of these comments to, disparage the Smith or anything like that. I'm just trying to tell you the difference. So this bass has definitely got more of that Marcus Millery thickness to it, while still having that articulation from the pickup placement and the natural compression from the top. So if I want to have a little more of that mid-range, then I'll add mid-range on the control here. And once I do that, it's definitely getting more of that Smith vibe to it. Yeah, so it gets more of that for sure. That's probably too much for what I'm doing there. Finger slap. There's that sound. That's. I really love that. Yeah. Anyway, that's the sound. All right, let's do bridge pickup. Add a little more treble. Yeah, God, I love that sound. That is, I will say I do prefer that sound on the bridge pickup only compared to the Smith sound. And it's because the F bass just has a little bit more of that fullness. It has a little bit, I don't know if it's because of the 34.5-inch string spacing, a little bit shorter string spacing is giving you that. But it's just a little fatter, and which to me is it's more the sound that I'm trying to play to up here. Yeah, gosh, I just think it sounds great. Now, all right, so beyond that, this is a BN5 Deluxe. So we've got, like I said, I was just going through the setting on, I think it's series. God, I wish I could remember this stuff. My memory is garbage, y'all. I can't help it. And then if we do just the neck pickup, let's take out some of the treble. Get that nice kind of growly P-bass sounds you can get. And then I was playing in single coils earlier. Single coil with that. If we put both pickups on and then put them down, and I need to look this up. I'll add it to the video. I think both down is series, I think. No, parallel. Ah! I wish I could remember this. Oh, I see we're getting a little too spicy on the bass control here. Yeah, so God, it just sounds so good. So it sounds so similar to the Smith, but it's got a little bit more fullness, a little bit more fatness, a little bit more sweetness to it than what the Smith does. And I don't construe that to say that it's better. Okay, I want to be really clear about this. I'm not saying it's better. It's just how it's different. Now, to my ear, I do like that sound maybe better, and I do like the sound. I will say this: for me, I like the sound of the bridge pickup soloed on the F bass better. To me, it's a little bit warmer and fatter, which I just prefer. But I want to be clear, I'm not saying it's better, okay? Now, I'm obviously an F bass fanatic. I'm like Mr. F bass, right? I'm their #1 dealer in the world, and it's because I love their products and their company. And my ear is tuned to this. And so that's probably a big reason why. If there's an equivalent guy out there who's the same way but for Smith, they might hear these two basses and appreciate what the F bass is doing, but they like the sound of the Smith better. You might like the sound of the Smith better. Cool, that's totally fine. But for me, this gives me that sound, a similar sound, that articulation, that burpiness, that bumpiness that the Smith is famous for, but with the fullness and fatness of the F bass and the customer service of F bass. Oh gosh, I probably should cut that last part out. Anyway, I absolutely love it. So I think for today, I'm going to call it quits here. And I know, and I will do a video in the future of, with doing like tracks and stuff like that. And I will compare this also to a normal BN5, just so you can hear that. I don't currently have a BN5 Deluxe to compare it to, but a standard BN5 and with the standard pickup placements and stuff will give you a good enough idea of the difference of them. But I at least wanted to get this out there. This video is already long enough as it is. So only available through FretSpot.com. It's the only place to get that, and no reason for you to go anywhere else. I mean, like, I'm your guy. Like, I give you the best price. I give you the best service. I'm the easiest to work with. It's only $500 down to reserve something. The time of doing this video, this bass is available, but I really, 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 really doubt it's going to be available. Honestly, maybe even past today. So we'll have to get them ordered for you. Orders are taking 16, 18 months, something like that, right? But I know that seems like a long time, but when you consider that, like, you'll have plenty of time. Think of it as plenty of time to be saving up the money to get them. Anyway, friends, I'm going to sign off, let you guys go. Again, thanks for watching this. Stay tuned for more content showing these as I get more in. And yeah, hope you guys are well. Take care.